بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي انحسرت الأوصاف عن كنه معرفته وردعت عظمته العقول فلم تجد مساغا إلى بلوغ غاية ملكوته، ثم الصلاة والتحية والإكرام على حبيبه وصفيه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. Praise be to Allah, who no one can truly describe him and fathom the essence of his existence, since His Majesty has restrained the intellect and there is no mean to approach the boundaries of His realm. We greet and salute the Holy Prophet of Islam, the most select and beloved of all, and his pure progenies. Sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the 18th night of our program from Islamic Center of America on this blessed month of fasting. I sincerely pray for everyone's well-being and safety during these difficult times. قال الله العظيم في محكم كتابه أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. In the name of Allah, the most merciful. We have sent the Quran down in the night of Qadr. And what you may know what the night of Qadr is. This night is better than 1,000 nights, 1,000 months. The angels and the Ruh descend in it with your Lord's command or permission, along with every command. Peace it is till the break of dawn. Last night, few points were missed as we were trying to organize the program. Number one was a correction about Surah Zalzala that a friend of mine sent me, that somehow I checked it again and it appears that I have made a mistake. وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا. The verse is تُحَدِّثُ. I said يُحَدِّثُ. So the correction has to be made here. تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا. I'm grateful to our friend. And also last night, because of the length of the surah, I pointed out that we are gradually moving out of the short surahs and moving into longer surahs. We may not be able to give justice to the entire surah within the short or the time that we have. So we may have to break it down. Or, as it happens tonight, the chapter itself contains so many key concepts that we really cannot address all of them in one night. And this is something that we will discuss in a few minutes. Let us start with the brief recap of last night's chapter, Surah Al-Bayyinah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed the theme that there is a cooperation or collaboration between the people of the book and the mushrikeen, idol worshippers of Mecca. Also, the surah pointed out, that's at least my understanding of it, that these people, although they try to present themselves in some kind of outward expression, that they are searching for truth and some kind of great signs and evidence to support, yes, the veracity of the Quran or the prophethood of the Holy Prophet. But truly is nothing more than deception. As these people, due to their arrogance and conceit, they are not going to change their way of life no matter what. Then I pointed out there were a number of verses in the Holy Quran that clearly lays the background. Specifically, the point here is in reference to the Jewish community of Medina, that these people repeatedly great signs came to them, miracles came to them, and yet they never adhere to any of the command, and they never change, to the point that they killed a number of their prophet and messengers. And even with regard to Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, they asked him to bring God down and make God presence in front of them. So the Holy Prophet was being advised really that they don't expect much from these people. And we pointed out repeatedly in the past that people who have vested interest in a status quo, they are not going to allow this situation to change. So business as usual has to continue. And then the chapter ended by reminding everyone, the reader as well as everyone else, that on the day of judgment, those who follow ad-din al-qayyim, the right religion or the right faith, will be rewarded by eternal bliss, and those who do not will ultimately be punished. Now let's start with Surah al-Qadr, Inna anzalnahu. Last night when I talked about the lengthy Surah al-Qadr, one of those major surahs in the Holy Quran or chapters in the Holy Quran that covers so many concepts that I don't think anyone will be able to truly do justice to all these concepts within half an hour or 45 minutes or even an hour. So what I intend to do is to break the surah down by first underlining few key concepts that are relevant. It's like at this stage, these are pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. May not appear related, but if you were to follow the argument, inshallah, by tomorrow night, once we put these pieces together, a better picture will come out of the chapter. The chapter itself is a Makki chapter, early Makki chapter, and it's famous, very well known, for the declaration regarding the night of power. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. That topic, key concept, is extremely critical, and which there are different reports about what night within the month of Ramadan is actually the night of power. From our ahadith that we have from our Imams and the Holy Prophet, it certainly alludes to the point that 19th, 21st, and the 23rd. Although there is an emphasis that all nights within the month of Ramadan, because of its unique situation and circumstance, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted so many privileges to us. Go back again to Khutbah Sha'baniyah, that the Holy Prophet says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are the guest and He's the host. So we really have to prepare ourselves for this banquet that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has laid down for this month for those who come. So because of this, the fact that Surah al-Qadr is so unique and so many concepts are covered from concepts such as Quran, its revelation, descending angels during that night, human destiny, discourse on Imama. I mean, part of Surah al-Qadr is discourse on Imama. So let us start with the first concept. That is the revelation of Quran from both a historical perspective and the Quranic one. If we were to approach the Quran thematically and say, okay, what do you say about the revelation of Quran? And also the fact of history that has proved to us few things. If we pay attention to the fact of history, historical fact, we certainly know, and I believe we touched upon this at the beginning of our journey through the Tafsir, where I said that in the intro to the whole thing is Quran has two types of revelation. We will expand on it tonight. Historical facts prove that Quran was revealed gradually over 23 years of the prophethood of the Holy Prophet. At least for us Shia, we believe that Mab'ath on the 27th of Rajab was the beginning of this revelation, in which the first 5 verses or passages from Surah Al-Alaq, Iqra, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. Read in the name of your Lord who has created. That was the beginning of a period of revelation that took 23 years. And with this revelation, one could seriously claim that human history, that was the beginning of a change, a permanent and concrete change in human history. But yet, if we were to go back, at least from our point of view, and look at the Quran itself, we see that a different image comes out. That there are a number of verses that Quran talks about revelation in one night. So somehow we have to morph and marry these two ideas together, that on the gradual process and the instantaneous collective revelation. How does that happen? Let's present the theme from the Quranic point of view. We start with the Surah Al-Baqarah, 185. If you go back to Surah Al-Baqarah, within those verses or passages that deal with the fasting issue, that the fast has become an obligation. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم. That verse is 183. 185 of the same chapter, it says شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. So the first verse that we cite for our, don't call it argument, for just reasoning. First verse, 185, Surah Al-Baqarah, proves that the month of Ramadan is the one in which revelation, Quran, was revealed. So the month where Quran was revealed, month of Ramadan. Then we come to Surah Al-Qadr. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. Now Quran says that we revealed or sent down the Quran in one night. Then that night is the night of Qadr, special night. Now, if you were to sum up these two together, we certainly conclude that the month of Ramadan has a night within it, and that night is called Laylatul Qadr, where Quran was revealed. We move one stage further, and next step is to bring in, to engage another verse from the Holy Quran, and to add another variable to this equation. Surah Hamim Dukhan. Hamim wal-kitab al-mubin inna anzalnahu fi laylatin mubarakah inna kunna mundirin. These three verses do not shed extra light from the conclusion that we have drawn by the first and the second verse. It simply understates and points out to the same thing. Hamim, by the manifest book, we have sent it down in a blessed night. We had to warn people. These are the three verses. Yet, the Quran introduces suddenly another point into this conversation, a new concept. The fourth verse of the same chapter, فِيهَا يُفْرَقُ كُلُّ أَمْرٍ حَكِيمٍ. In that night, grand issues, every wise command will be decided. Well, we don't know. We have to, hopefully, once we get to it, we will explain exactly what these are. But at the moment, at this stage, we have looked at Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah Inna anzalnahu fi Laylat al-Qadr, and Surah Hamim Dukhan. The summation that we can draw from all these verses, the month of Ramadan has a special night that's called Laylat al-Qadr. In that night, the Quran is revealed, and during that night, grand decisions are made regarding what? We don't know. So, this is the conclusion that we reach. This issue of Laylat al-Qadr, Qadr being destiny, grand decision, we don't know. But certainly the verse in the Holy Quran talks about a night in which grand decision, and it's the same night that Quran is revealed. Grand decisions are made, which is called Laylat al-Qadr. So this, when we put all of these verses together and compare them to what we call the historical facts of a gradual process and revelation over 23 years period, the only conclusion we can reach that will not contradict and oppose either the Holy Quran or the historical fact is to claim that there are two types of revelation for the Holy Quran. Number one, al-nuzul al-ijmali, which is a revelation in a summary fashion and style. The collective revelation happened or took place during Laylat al-Qadr and during the month of Ramadan, on the heart of the Prophet. Call it the essence of Quran was revealed during this night to the heart of the Holy Prophet, which is al-nuzul al-ijmali, revelation in a summary fashion. And then al-nuzul al-tadriji, which means the gradual process in which Quran gradually was revealed, and the Holy Prophet would, as we explained before, called the scribes to come down and record and all these verses that revealed to him and explain to them exactly where these verses and chapters have to be located and how to be structured. So the next concept is, what is Laylat al-Qadr? That it's so critical and so fundamental. To be able to shed light on Laylat al-Qadr, we really need to digress a bit and pose a question, answer the question, and then come back to Laylat al-Qadr and see how it's related to the question. If I were to ask a question, does any piece of time or any piece of land, right from the beginning of creation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave priority over a piece of time over other, or a piece of land over other, or they were all equal? We certainly intrinsically, we don't have any evidence to prove that right at the time of creation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted any kind of privilege to any particular minute or second or hour, or to any particular space or time, space or land. Certainly, on a physical concept or from physical point of view, we can say that yes, land, the fertile land they have more preference or priority over the barren land. But we are not talking here about the physical part. We are talking spiritually. So what we mean by spiritual means that these are times, specific times, or a specific piece of land that by default they are considered to be somehow holy, of reverence, or anything else. Certainly, at least I have not come to any kind of evidence that later on, yes, that's we call contingency. These are later on, if a sage, an imam, the holy prophet, one of the prophets before, construct a space or land on a space, because of them, that takes a degree of reverence and holiness. But at the time of creation, all times, all spaces are equal opportunities and they have equal potential. Let's look at this center. This holy center, mosque. When it was nothing, barren land, nothing. MYCA, whatever they called them, came and opened the space here. Then it became useful. But it wasn't considered to be of reverence or holy, that had certain conditions, culinary consequences to it, until the center is built into a mosque. Once you build the center into a mosque, a place of worship, it becomes blessed, venerated, holy, and hence it has a totally different concept. What you do with the land becomes an issue. And the same thing goes with time. If I spend the time reciting or listening to the Holy Quran, or spend the time reading Shakespeare, are we going to consider this is equal? Or the usage of the time gives a degree of reverence to a particular time that I have spent it. If the seconds or the minutes are used to give charity to the poor, that makes that minute or second holy. Or visit orphans, or help homeless, the second or minutes become godly. If you use it to truly submit to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it becomes eternal. So it all depends on what you do with the time and what you do with the space. That gives it a degree of holiness, veneration, and so on to it. Not because it is by default. Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullah salamu alayhi, there is a short saying at the end of Nahj al-Balagha, ليس بلد بأحق بك من بلد خير البلاد ما حملك. No town has greater right on you than the other. The best is the one which bears you or carries you or gives you space to submit. I am from Iraq, from the holy city of Najaf. But I couldn't live in it because I was not given the opportunity to stay and submit to the command of Allah. Then I have to travel to another country where they accept me in it. And I have every time, every freedom to do at least to submit to the command of Allah. Are we going to say that space, if there was no Najaf per se, no burial site from the Holy Prophet, because simply I was born in it, has more priority? I said remove the externalities. Had more priority than anywhere else? Certainly not. It's where I am able to act and submit to the command of Allah. Another short saying from Amir al-Mu'mineen, al-ghina fil ghurba watan, wal-faqr fil watan ghurba. If you can, this is from an economic point of view, if you can go to another piece of land and be able to economically establish yourself, that economic comfort makes that piece of land your homeland. While when you are destitute and poor in the place of birth, that place becomes strange. What these ahadith and the sayings are trying to remind us, that space and time, by default, there is nothing unique and exceptional to it. It becomes exceptional when we use it properly and constructively. Laylat al-Qadr. If I used Laylat al-Qadr and the opportunity properly, and submit to the command of Allah, elevate spiritually, and during this night, allow my heart through khushu' and suluk to open up for the divine light to come in, that night is of value for me. But if I spend it in a bar, wandering around, even if it is 23rd of Ramadan, that's not Laylatul Qadr for me. Why? Because I'm not using the time for the purpose that it was supposed to be designed and allocated. Time and space, when we talk about Laylatul Qadr, it relates to us. So as Urafa would say, every person will have his or her own Laylatul Qadr, independent of somebody else. Depends on what we do. Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam went to Mount Sinai to receive the tablet. At the beginning, he was told that you should submit for 30 years until your heart becomes receptive to be given the revelation. Stayed there for 30 years, submitted, but still couldn't make it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had to extend another 10 nights for him. وَأَتْمَمْنَاهَا بِعَشْرٍ. So another 10 nights were given so that through submission, khushu' and opening up, verse in the Holy Quran says, أَلَمْ يَعْنَ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Hasn't the time come for those who profess Iman that their hearts open up, cracks, and become receptive for the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So Laylatul Qadr is not a given thing that it is this night, everyone joins it. Laylatul Qadr is the night in which it becomes the pinnacle of our action. If we work hard enough and ultimately we reach a point in which we can say when we stand up during those nights, "Oh Lord, we are ready," then that is Laylatul Qadr for me, for us. If we haven't done anything searching for a short route or route to Laylatul Qadr, then we have people say, why the Imams didn't identify exactly what night Laylatul Qadr is, so we all come to the center and offer our prayer and go back home. That's not the intent. Every one of us has his or her own Laylatul Qadr, depending on the work that we do. Because intrinsically, as I said, time and space, they don't carry with them, encapsulate a certain degree of uniqueness or reverence or holiness. It is us that we give them the holiness. When Ali is martyred in the mosque, that mosque becomes holy. When Imam Zainul Abidin stands and offers two prayer in Masjid al-Kufa, it's because of that act that he did. That corner becomes holy and of reverence. The place that Ali is buried becomes holy. Otherwise, huge number of crimes are committed in Najaf. So simply uh, uh, because it's Najaf, then everything is gone. So Laylat al-Qadr, inshallah, tomorrow night when we address this, we'll try to explain that Laylat al-Qadr, yes, we have the Holy Quran talks about Laylat al-Qadr, but Laylat al-Qadr is what we call contingent night. Depends on our deed and action. If we forget from the beginning of the month and we stand up on the 23rd, when we explain exactly what is the meaning of decision, of destiny, etc., etc., and the night, in whichever night that is, and we stand and we say, "Oh Lord, change the destiny of my life." On what basis? Am I ready? Is the heart opening up? Is there a khushu'? Is there a submission? The next topic that, inshallah, I will probably leave it till tomorrow night is the concept of ruh, another key concept that is mentioned over 21 times in the Holy Quran, but under different context and in different meanings. Sometimes ruh is being used as simply meaning Jibreel. Another time, ruh is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blows into human being and gives them light. Sometimes ruh is a malak or an angel that Allah has created similar to the other malaika and angels that works with them. Another time is something that works with prophets. We have Prophet Isa and others. Sometimes ruh is being used as wahy, revelation. And this Surah al-Qadr, ruh is being used in the context of a unique angel. Our commentators have debated as exactly what that unique angel is. Is it Jibreel or some unique other angel? Inshallah, we leave that till tomorrow night. Let's pray. Tonight is the first night of Qadr for those who started the month on Friday. These are unique nights. Believe me, brothers and sisters, if we haven't worked before, these are the last opportunities in this month to focus on recitation of Quran, istighfar, asking Allah for forgiveness, and reciting dua, dhikr, prayers, extra prayers, salat al-layl, and everything else. It's only through these extra work, jihad and struggle, asking Allah to remove some of these negativities within our heart and cleanse it from all impurities. And others who would start tomorrow night, inshallah, we will continue with it tomorrow night, inshallah, finish Surah al-Qadr. Let's pray for the well-being, safety, and protection of all those individuals that they have gone extra mile to protect the community. May Allah bless them, protect them, and keep them safe. Thank you very much. Keep everyone in your prayers during these nights. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.